Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40k Imperial Guard After Action Report with me, Mordian Glory. So this is the After Action Report for the 2000 points Arbites and Scions versus Deathwatch and Blood Angels. It was a very interesting game, debut of our new terrain, and with two interesting and fluffy lists. So me and Johnny were discussing, obviously, how we wanted to do this battle. Over breakfast. We've got a nice little cafe that we go to, and we get a nice fried breakfast, and we discuss what battles we're going to do, and make sure that they're interesting for both us to play and for you guys to watch. So that's why you often see us trying different armies out each time. Very rarely the same battle each time. Now, one thing that Johnny has been wanting to try out for a long time has been a dreadnought heavy army. That's what he's wanted to try out. If you remember, when I did that sort of rolling update video series for the tournament, when I showed you before and after each game I played at that team tournament, one of my teammates in that tournament had like an 11 dreadnought list, and Johnny has always loved his dreadnoughts, so he wanted to use as many as he could. So I believe there were 6 in that army that he used. And then obviously he didn't quite go out of his comfort zone, because he still took the standard, 3 assault cannon razorbacks. He never leaves home without those, despite my encouraging him otherwise. So that was the list he wanted to try out. That was the list he took. And as you can see, it was quite powerful in the end. It was a nice mix as well. He had. It's amazing the sort of variety you can get with the dreadnoughts. So he had the choppy dreadnoughts, of course, but he also had like shooty dreadnoughts with his assault cannon and his twin las cannon, and then he also had a psychic dreadnought. So it's amazing. You can actually build quite strong lists, purely made out of dreadnoughts, and you have a variety of options. You've got close combat, you've got psychic, and you've got shooting. So that was something really interesting to know. He really enjoyed using that army. It was tough for me to face, but I thought the Scions might be able to do it, because obviously they have a lot of AP-2 weaponry, which dreadnoughts hate facing. Dreadnoughts have only got a 3-up save, they've only got 8 wounds, so even though you're winning them with 6 of those hotshot lasguns, if you do wound them, they often fail that wound, more often than not. So that was sort of thinking. I wanted to try out the Arbites. That force you saw, if you notice, the Arbites and the Scions are all the same colour scheme. That is intentional. That army can be broken down into 2 1,000 point armies or 1 2,000 point army. With the Arbites being one half roughly and the Scions being the other half. It was sort of done, if you remember, for the Blood and Shadows campaign. It was part of the sort of private army of Inquisitor Glotka. And I thought, I haven't used them since the Blood and Shadows campaign. Not really, not in force. I mean, I brought Scions in my Imperial Guard games, but I haven't really used the Arbites. So I thought, we'll go for a run. They used to be quite powerful, so we'll give them a run. Yeah. We're going to take a look. I'm going to basically be completely honest with you in regards to the list. I think that the Scions, the stormtroopers, did very well. I think the Arbites were a waste of time. I was essentially 900 points down in that game. Essentially. And even with, 900 points of my army was just a big distraction. Those Arbites were unable to even kill a single dreadnought. I mean, they brought one down to 1 wound, and they brought a captain down to 1 wound, but they, half of my army got annihilated by like a quarter of my opponents. That's not really good return on my investment. On the other hand, my Scions performed amazingly. They did. I really enjoyed it when they, on the right hand flank, from my point of view, they just dropped down and deleted that flank. And that was just 3-4 squads. That was Flamer Squad, Melter Squad, Plasma Squad, a Commander, so 3 squads, an Officer and a couple of Torx Primes, and they deleted a flank. They deleted 2 Dreadnoughts and a unit of Scouts, and then another one of my squads deleted then 2 more squads deleted a Razorback. That's pretty fucking good. That's really impressive. So I was really impressed with the Scions. I was really disappointed by the Arbites. They are probably just going to get relegated to sort of fluff now. Not sure when I'll be using them again. They're kind of cool, but really, maybe I need to use them again. I think they have a lot of anti-infantry capability, and maybe I need to try a different chat tactic with them. But they struggle so hard with anti-tank. They didn't used to have a problem with anti-tank because of how many crack grenades I was able to throw around. I mean, those Astartes grenade launchers used to be rapid fire crack grenade launchers. That meant that I was able to put out, I've got 6 of them, I was able to put out 12 crack grenades a turn. Plus I was able to throw one from each sergeant. So I was able to put out 15 crack grenades a turn back in 7th edition. That generally, because they could always get on side armour, I mean, you saw, if you've watched the Blood and Shadows campaign, the final battle where they really get to show off, they take out Razorbacks, they take out Chimeras, they take out Bile Predators. They're good. They're good, and they were able to, back in the day when they were able to get on the rear armour of enemy vehicles, yeah, they were really good. But they've changed a lot. The Astartes grenade launchers are now Assault 1. They've gone up from 5 points to 11 points. Bikers themselves have gone up in points. That army used to be a 750 point army, including all the Scions you saw. Not Scions, all the Arbites you saw used to be 750 points, and they got a Storm Talon as well. Now, they're almost 900 points, and you don't even get the Storm Talon, and their weapons are worse. Because that used to be my anti-tank. The Storm Talon with its las cannon plus assault cannon with rending, that used to tip enough anti-tank into my favour. Now, not so much. Which is a shame. It's a big shame. I still think there's potential. I think the Arbites and the Scions have to work as a more cohesive force. I kind of split my army in 2. I wanted to see how the Arbites could do, and I wanted to see how the Scions could do. I saw the Scions perform expertly. I saw the Arbites struggle. I think if the Arbites had Scion support, if they'd had melter guns supporting them, they would have done a lot better. That is for sure. Absolutely for sure. They would have done a lot better. As it was, they performed poorly. But I'm not ready to completely give up on them, but I do think that they do need a bit more work. But enough about the Arbites. I want to go back to the Scions now, because the Arbites are a fun sort of army, but the Scions are guard, and we like to think about guard things on this channel. I've said that I really enjoyed using the Scions, and I said that I really enjoyed their ability to delete a flank in one go. However, with hindsight, I could have played them a lot better. From the get-go, weapon choices. I wanted to field every special weapon I could for the Scions. I've got flamers in there, I've got melter, I got plasma, I got volley guns, and I got grenade launchers. I got all 5 weapons in there, multiples of each one, so I could really give them a thorough testing. I'm going to say it now, Flamer Stormies are dead. They're absolutely dead. The Flamers, they never helped me achieve anything, which is a shame. Really disappointed in the Flamers. I think it's because you can't deep strike them. My theory of having them in the Tauroxes and jumping them out and using them that way didn't really help. And I often found that when I was in Flamer range, I was in hotshot lasgun rapid fire range. And what I asked myself was, do I want D6 strength 4 shots with no AP, on average 3 or 4, Or do I want a guaranteed 4 hotshot lasgun shots with a strength 3 AP -2? And the clear answer is I want the guaranteed 4 shots rather than the flamer, and I want to have the better AP. Scions aren't about crappy shots. Why do you think all their guns are AP -2? Scions are about really, really, really high damage. Well, by high damage, I mean armor-piercing shots. That's what they're good at, and that's what we saw them do. So, drop the flamers, that's for certain. Grenade launchers, I've seen a lot of theory on the internet how you want to start taking grenade launchers on your Scions, you want to start taking grenade launchers on your veterans, because they don't have to pay large amounts of points for them. Let me just tell you now, that's a load of bollocks. Grenade launchers are still shit, even in the hand of veterans. You just don't want them. Okay, you just don't want them. Yeah, they're not very good. Weapons that stood out. So they're the 2 weapons that stood out to me as bad, and they're the ones that I will be dropping and have actually already dropped. Just want to say, guys, I've got 2 more battle reports filmed up. I need to process them. They are pre-chapter approved though, so the points values will be slightly off, but the general principle will be the same. So it shouldn't make a huge difference. But anyway, yeah. So flamers, one of them has Scions in, by the way, and I apply a lot of the lessons that I've learned here. I do apply them in that video. So you should see. You should really enjoy that other Scion video. So yeah, we're going back to weapons that I thought performed really well. Hotshot volley guns. My opponents, both in this game and in the next game you'll be seeing with the Scions in, both of them said that they love hotshot volley guns. They think they're absolutely fantastic. So that's good. I agree with them. Hotshot volley guns are absolutely the bomb. Okay. Plasma is awesome. Love it. And Melter is great. I have no complaints on any of those weapons. So that's really, so they're the weapons that I think perform well with the Scions. They're the ones I noticed doing well. One thing I really want to talk about is the Scion Regimental Doctrine, because I got to use it in this. I had 2 different detachments, and one was pure Scion, so I got to use the Stormtroopers Doctrine. I've seen, again, a lot of people poo-pooing this doctrine on the internet, and I am just amazed. It's absolutely fantastic. Don't let anyone tell you it's shit. It's not. It's good. It's very fucking good. Okay? Because of the amount of firepower you can put out. So the Scions Doctrine, for those of you who don't know, is if you are within half range, which you're going to be a lot of the time, if you are within half range, then any rolls of a 6 to hit generate an additional shot. So you get to try again. But you don't get to keep trying. So you don't get, if you roll 4 dice and roll 4 6s, you would get 4 more shots. If you roll those shots, if you got another 4 6s, you wouldn't get any more shots. Additional shots don't generate even more additional shots, is the best way of putting it. But if you look at it very specifically, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's any Militarum, like, Tempestus Scion unit, right? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, guys. Pretty sure that includes Taurox Primes. Pretty sure it does. I'm actually going to check my codex now. I mean, I wasn't really using it on Taurox Primes in that game because they were often out over half range. But let's just take a little cheeky gander, because I've just thought of this now, actually. So apologies for doing this unorganised, disorganised, shall we say. I think I've gone past it, yeah. Liam Russ, Chimera, Taurox Prime, Militarum Tempestus. Yeah, they have that key word, which means if I go to the regiment trait, that's regimental warlord traits. I might need to go the other way. I think I do. Nope, here we go. If a model with this doctrine is shooting Militarum Tempestus, yep, so they have that. They have that rule. So it does apply to Taurox Primes, which is fantastic. So think of how many shots you're generating from a Taurox Prime. You're getting 20 from the Gatling cannon, plus 8 from the volley guns. If you're on half, and you've got storm bolts on there, and you're in half range, that's 32 shots. On average, that's an additional 5 shots, and you hit on 3s. So you're going to be hitting with those extra shots. I was finding that my Gatling cannon was generating additional, I was pretty lucky with it, but it was generally generating 3 to 4 extra shots. My volley guns consistently generated two more shots. I was lucky with them consistently. But all it takes is one lucky round. This is what I was finding with my double volley gun squad and with my hotshot las guns at close range. I was finding I would put first rank fire, second rank fire on the squad, unleash a squad of sort of 5 or 6 Scions, and I'd be coming up with 5 or 6 6s, and it's like, holy crap, that's like, 6. It's almost like having 6 more Scions or 2 more Scions. It's crazy. Turning on the ranges is what I mean. So yeah, it's really powerful. Don't let anyone dissuade you. It is really, really powerful, because people underestimate, or maybe people don't really appreciate online, how many shots the Scion army will be putting out. It's a lot. It's a hell of a lot. Generally speaking, what I found to be effective, I would drop. Oh, don't forget plasma guns. You get to deep strike within 12 inches. So you deep strike within deep strike 9 inches away. That's within half range to plasma guns. You then overcharge them. You reroll ones to hit with take aim. You've got 8 shots. If you're taking a command squad, that's 8 shots. I would often get another 2. I would often get 2 6s, which meant I got another 2 shots. That's like having a free Scion with a plasma gun in rapid fire range. Think about that for a second. If that isn't worth it alone, I don't know what is. So, yeah. So that's what I've learned. The stormtrooper doctrine is fantastic. It does work, but it's all about leveraging the maximum number of shots. And this is what I want to go on to in my final bit of Scion analysis. Squad role and composition. So I was taking 10-man squads in there with flamers and like grenade launchers and shit, and I was just thinking to myself, God, I wish I had more hotshot lasguns. And so what I've realised is Scions, you either want to take them as 5-man squads, and all you're really taking them for is the special weapon. So either a 5-man double plasma squad, or a 5-man double melter squad, or a command squad with 4 plasma guns in. That's what you want to take them as the special weapon carriers. Or you want to take them as 10-man squads with no upgrades. That's the key. Or maybe, if you want to make some kind of fire base, a 10-man squad with 4 hotshot volley guns. Maybe. But generally speaking, if you're taking special weapons, you want to stick to 5-man squads. Okay? 2 volley guns and a 5-man squad. 2 melter guns and a 5-man squad. Plasma guns and a command squad. That's what you want. Because you just want to be able to focus that firepower. You want those melter guns to be popping tanks. You want those plasma guns to be killing everything. You want to be killing high toughness targets. You want, volley guns are kind of, like I said, they're the odd one out. But volley guns are still are really good. So, volley guns are the only exception to taking 5-man squads. But I still think they're good in little 5-man squads, because a little 5-man squad with 2 volley guns, that's a nice little objective secured unit. Doesn't bring too much attention to itself, can still contribute to the battle. However, you then want to take a 10-man lasgun squad and put them in a Torx Prime. Okay, you want to do that, because what you're going to do is you're going to drive your Torx Prime pell-mell forward turn 1. Get it nice and close to the enemy. Maybe even, shoot with it, or maybe pop smoke with it. And then next turn you want to jump your guys out 9 inches within rapid fire range, get an officer in there with them. And what we're looking at is, we'll say 10 Scions in rapid fire range, with first rank fire, second rank fire on them. That's 40 shots from a 10-man squad. That's 40 shots of strength 3, AP -2, and it only costs you 100 points. That is a good deal. That is enough to bring most things to their knees. Let's not then forget that any 6s you roll will be generating additional shots. And if you're lucky, you could easily get 10 6s after rerolls. Oh, you probably wouldn't be able to get rerolls, would you? Because you're using first rank fire, second rank fire. Fine. But just extra 6, you know, you could probably get between 5 and 10 extra 6s if luck's on your side. If you do that, that's like having another 10 Scions shooting at long range. I think it's perfectly possible. Perfectly possible, with a bit of luck on your side, to get 50 shots from one Scion squad. All hitting on, you know, with extra shots, hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s or 5s, depending on the targets you're shooting at. Eldar are very popular. Tyranids are very popular. And when you think about that, that's a lot of shots which do a lot of damage. You know, we're seeing a lot of Tyranid players bringing big bug swarms for 100 points, you know, as in big swarms of bugs. That combo right there, you take 2 or 3 squads with that loadout in Taurox Primes, and then you have the rest of your army deep striking down with Plasma and Melter. You do that, you can clear out all the little bugs which are providing a screen for the enemy very easily. Then deep strike down your heavy hitters, blow away the big bugs. And the best thing about Tempestus Scions? AP -2 guns. Even if you have to start going hunting big bugs with them, they might be wounding on 6s, but any wounds they get through are going to really hurt those bugs. Or anything that they shoot at, really. So, that's really one thing I want to mention about squad composition and how you want to be running them. There was one more thing I want to talk about. We've talked about the stormtrooper doctrine. We've talked about the weapons. We've talked about Taurox Primes, plasma guns, melter guns, volley guns. There was one more thing I wanted to talk about. It is eluding me now. Well, one thing I want to mention is a tactical auto reliquary of Tiberius. I thought that was really good, actually. Definitely deserves a look into. Getting the ability to get extra orders off, nice. Especially considering the rod of command has now gone up to 5 points a model. We need to be careful with that. Look, I can't remember what the last thing I was going to say about the Scions was. If I remember it, I'll mention it in the after action report for in the next Scion battle report. You're going to be seeing a lot more Scions on the channel. That's one thing I do want to mention. You are going to be seeing more Scions on the channel because they're currently my only well-painted Imperial Guard army. They're doing basing, and I'll do a mass basing of them at some point. But as you probably noticed with the battle reports and the updates I've been giving, I am really, really focused on providing high-quality battle reports now. We've got a variety of terrain, a variety of battle mats, and you know we've got a well-painted Bloody Angels army that can be featured on the channel. We've got a well-painted Deathwatch army that can be featured on the channel. We've got a well-painted Scion army that can be featured on the channel. And, little teaser for you guys, we have a very well-painted Black Templars army which can now be fielded on the channel. So we have lots of different armies which can be fielded on the channel. And they're all well painted, and my Mordian Iron Guard aren't that well painted. If we're going to be honest, they're kind of shit painted. So, the Scions will be making a lot of appearances at the moment because they're well painted. So will the Black Templars. I think that's fine. I was worried at first about doing that, but that's fine because I've done plenty of, you know, I've done 2 or 3 battle reports with the Cadians recently, haven't I? And Mordians. There's been plenty of regular guard battle reports. I'm just going to start exploring the Scions a little bit up until the new year, basically. Yeah, but that's it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed that. I'll go over more in another video. You know what I'm planning to do with the channel going into 2018. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope it's given you some good tactical insights. Quick summary I want to say is Dakar Primes are awesome. Taurox, Dakar Primes are awesome. That's what I'll say. Stormtrooper Doctrine is fantastic. Don't listen to the bullshit of the internet. Don't take flamers or grenade launchers. They're a waste of time. Scions are hard-hitting, high-damage output units. Give them the weapons to do that job. You either want to take small special weapon squads or large lasgun squads. And again, another sneak peek. I can confirm the large lasgun squads are powerful. You'll see that in another battle report coming up. So I hope you guys have enjoyed that. I hope you found this useful tactically. Please leave lots of comments on what you found to be good about Scions in 8th edition, and well, pure Scions, because we all know that they're good as a supplement force. But how have you been finding your pure Scion force? I think they're very powerful. I'm looking forward to using them again. Oh, I remember that last thing I wanted to say, but it fits in here perfectly. I found in that battle that I spunked my load too early. I brought all my reinforcements in, all my drops in on turn 1. I dropped everything in, did a huge alpha strike, but it was kind of overkill. I actually ended up wasting about 3 plasma guns worth of firepower, and I was out of position. I was all stuck on one flank. With Scions, the last bit of tactical advice I want to give is it's better to have an alpha strike and a beta strike. Or beta strike, sorry. Alpha strike and a beta strike. Okay? I would say bring in half your plasma melter drops turn 1, crush one flank. Then when the enemy's still reeling from that on turn 2, crush the left flank and then meet in the middle. Okay? We'll see that later on. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful, and I'll see you guys next time.